All right, welcome back to the channel. Episode 4 of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power just dropped on Amazon Prime. You can go check it out if you haven't watched it yet. There will be spoilers in this video. I am excited to be talking a little bit about it. This episode to me felt like an episode filled with a lot of obstacles, and I know that episode 5 on will be just a nonstop roller coaster. So this was probably a really good setup for that. Saw some really great sequences in this episode, along with the previous episode, which I'll talk a little bit about. One of the characters that really I'm just so drawn to is the character of the stranger. And in the last episode, he and Poppy and Nori got into a little bit of a scuffle, and there was a scene with the stranger, and he basically created a windstorm, and it was so fascinating. I love that whole sequence, and so we get to see the aftermath of that in this episode. And in him trying to find Nori and Poppy, he runs into Tom, who is a character that many of us, if you've read the books, have been looking forward to seeing on screen. And we got to see him introduced in this episode. It was really great. In running into Tom Bombadil, the stranger ends up figuring out what he's been looking for, which is basically what his destiny is. And in a lot of ways, Tom is guiding the stranger. Initially, it was cool to see him introduced and cool to see him interact with the stranger in a way that's kind of like, he's kind of hard to pin down. You have a sense that he has answers, but he's not giving them to you. It's almost like he'll give you clues so that you can figure it out, and that's what I really liked about his interaction with the stranger, because the stranger is, realizing really quickly that he was brought to Tom, and Tom is guiding him in figuring out what it is that he's meant to do. And in the end, he finds out that he's meant to confront and deal with Sauron and the Dark Wizard. And so that whole exchange was so awesome. And in the last episode, we find Theo is missing. He was taken by the trees. Isidore and Arondir they're searching for Theo. Isidore, he's kind of, he spent last season trying to leave Numenor, right? Wanting probably nothing to do with Numenor. And his arc so far in this season is kind of like, you don't know what you have until it's gone, and it's sort of ironic that all he's ever wanted to do was leave his home, and now he's sort of in this place of longing for home, and it's an interesting place for him to be in this season. And with Arondir, he is, as I said the last video, he's dealing with grief and this need for revenge and vengeance. And in this episode, you can see him sort of working his way through the loss. In a lot of ways, he works through it by trying to find and track Theo. And part of that is the promise that he made. And in keeping that, you could see him kind of work through the grief that he has. In the same breath, he's also wanting to get to Gar, who took something so dear to him. So he finally finds Theo, and all is well between Theo and Arondir. And so it's really, really beautiful what happens. The other thing that we see, that we kind of pick up, is Galadriel and Elrond still sort of at odds with each other, and Elrond is not excited at all about the rings still, and he refuses to take any direction from it when Galadriel, recommends not going south on their journey, because she literally, the ring is literally showing her visions of the future, and it warns that there's an evil in the south, and Elrond is not about it. He says, we're going south. And so they go south, they run into some issues. And it's such a bummer because, he refuses to take direction from the ring. And towards the end of this whole sequence with these two, they run into the orcs, and Galadriel decides to try and hold them off as they go. Elrond and his crew goes towards Lord Celebrimbor. And they walk into this trap. There is a scene that's so awesome that makes me love uh Galadriel, and her her fight scenes are so well done, and she's such a badass in the sequence in this episode. I just loved watching it. I love seeing her in action, and I know that she does a lot of her own stunts, and so that was really cool treat to see. And I liked that she got caught. Adar caught her, and I don't know what will happen with those two, but I love the idea of those two working together somehow to kind of join forces to defeat Sauron. They both want to defeat Sauron, so I don't know where this is going to lead in the series, but I do love that those two are together right now. So that is my sort of highlights from the episode. I thought it was a really great episode. Like I said earlier, it's an episode of a lot of things to overcome and work through. And so it was a lot of that. I'm guessing the following episodes that are to come will be just all out war. And so I'm excited. Yeah, I think it was a solid episode. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you follow. I will be coming back next week with more. Talk to you soon.